And now in the latest installment of shit in the back of Dave's car.
When you had your head down looking on the phone before I hit record, it just looked like we had a corpse in the back seat.
Oh, man.
Well, so we were all at Batman The Killing Joke, and we didn't see you until after the movie. I got a text beforehand that was like, "Are you guys at Batman?" I looked at Dave like, "I think Irving's here," and I turned around and there was like 1,000 people in there.
Oh, yeah.
That was my problem. I turned around. You were in front of us.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I was in the very front of a theater.
Yeah.
And now I remember why I don't fucking do it.
No, it's awful.
That was
terrible.
ridiculous.
Thank God it was short.
Yeah. Yeah, 70, 75 minutes.
And yeah, thank God it was short, because that was fucking awful.
I haven't read the source material.
It's not even based off the source material. I mean, okay,
The first part isn't.
the first 30 minutes, the whole Batgirl part, that's not in the comic. Other than that, it's pretty close to the source material, to be honest.
So that's why the first part of it and the last part of it felt like two completely different
Exactly.
things.
Because, I mean, the graphic novel it's fairly short. To be honest. It's not a very long book.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first part was added on, and I understand why they added it on, because, well, quite frankly, if you're going to shoot a major character in the canon at the very beginning of the movie, you might want to add some characterization.
Add a little gravitas.
Yeah, make them care, you know. In the comic books, you have the benefit of, 20-something years of history with that character.
Yeah.
In the movie, if you don't build it up, you're just, you're doing the woman in the refrigerator thing. And that's, quite frankly, kind of shitty. But no, that's not why I thought it was awful. I thought it was awful because it was just fucking bad.
It's not the worst Batman movie I've seen this year.
No, it didn't flow well.
No, I totally agree with you there.
It didn't flow like it had 2 acts.
Yeah.
It had 2 acts and they didn't go together well, and just the
It was two
pacing.
different main characters.
The pacing felt really odd. Yeah.
So, and the first half is Batgirl perspective, and then the second half is Batman perspective, and it's disjointed.
Yeah.
No, that is absolutely true. And so at the beginning of this, we see Batgirl almost kind of pining after him a little bit with her gay best friend at the library.
Oh, what fuck was that? You can't put a woman in the refrigerator, but we'll throw in that stereotype.
Girl, are you got a crush on your yoga instructor?
And I thought the gay scene was hard.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Microwave popcorn and red wine, stat!
But play him like an idiot.
So that happens, and I'm sitting there like, I haven't read the comic, but I really don't think that's in there. I could be wrong. I don't know. So, yeah, it's making Batgirl just kind of pining after him a little bit in the first part. So I was like, all right, I'm going along with this a little bit. It's not boring. And then, all of a sudden, erotic fan fiction kicks in.
Yeah.
That was just so fucking unnecessary. So fucking unnecessary. And just immediately weakened the character.
It is random as fuck.
Yeah.
Even if this weren't based on anything existing in terms of characters or the source material or anything, that was really random. Very out of nowhere. And then makes Batgirl, like, just kind of upset that he hasn't called her back the next day.
Yeah. Just scoring the girlfriend, that shit, no.
It just immediately weakened the character. Yes, does it maybe give Batman more reason to be angry at the Joker? Yeah, but that's not a fucking excuse to do that.
He didn't need enough reason.
I think Batman would have been pissed off at the Joker regardless if he banged Batgirl beforehand.
No,
like when you shoot, like, Joker has a history of just fucking with Batman. You don't need any extra reasoning.
Yeah.
You know, between shooting Barbara and paralyzing her, or beating Jason Todd half to death and blowing his ass up, you don't need any extra
You don't need that more
You
motivation.
don't.
It was
no.
worth it for the guy. I don't know if you heard this, but the guy sitting a couple rows behind us when Batman and Batgirl started fucking. That's a sentence I never thought I would say in a midnight screenings video. But like, so when that happened, there was a guy a couple rows behind us who just all of a sudden goes, "What?"
Yeah, I did hear that. That was.
And I find it disappointing. For the movie, terrible, but I find it really disappointing from the people fucking involved with the making of it. Like I think I'm on record in a video at some point saying that I thought Bruce Timm should have been involved, or he could be a great lead guy to take care of the DC cinematic universe. And after this, like, I really have doubts.
Well, and I love Brian Azzarello.
Dude,
as a
he's
writer.
Easily one of my favorite comic book writers.
But what the fuck was he thinking with this? Because that whole first part was Azzarello's brainchild. This whole Batgirl thing, and then I'm just like, no, you don't. And I'm like his Joker comic, the graphic novel he did with the Joker is fantastic.
Oh yeah, 100 Bullets is one of the
100 Bullets is
one of the greatest comic book runs ever.
completely.
And I know I'm in a minority when it comes to fans of it, but I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for his run on Hellblazer. He was the first American to write the book, and a lot of people didn't like it.
Oh.
Yeah, that does happen. So.
I thought it was a great run, though, and I have personal reasons for fucking loving that run.
What did you guys think of, like, the Joker flashbacks in it?
Well, that's
in the Killing Joke.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I haven't read it, but I know
that was the one great thing about the Killing Joke.
Mm-hmm.
And in the before the movie started, they were interviewing Mark Hamill about it.
Mm-hmm.
Was just how sympathetic that makes him, and then just how terrifyingly vile it is to fast forward to the present and watch him do these things, knowing his story arc as that tragic figure, just going complete 180. That was always one of the better parts of the Killing Joke, was just that backstory that just...
It's the better part of this movie.
It is. Oh, it very much is.
And I think they missed it. They missed a few notes in there, in my opinion. It's one of those things. It is a short graphic novel, and it is written by one of the all-time greats in the industry. But even he has said it's not his best work. So if you're going to make a feature-length movie out of it, expand on those things. Like, and if you're going to go for the R, well, fucking earn it. Because they didn't fucking earn it.
No, honestly, like...
They really didn't earn the R. If they were going to go ahead and accept an R, they should have just fucking went for the... bat for the fucking fences.
A couple of tiny edits. This is not an R.
No.
Like, I guess it's an R because it shows some people shot in the with a bullet hole in their head on the ground. This is a soft R.
No, but yeah, if you're going for the R, go for the fucking R. Expand on the story. Make it a little more mean-spirited. I mean, and like, get graphic with it, because honestly, like, the implications in the comics, the things that the Joker does to Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon in the comics, it's far more
It's
frightening and visceral than what you get in this, because it's emotional in the comics.
Yeah.
Because, well, and comics is one of those things. I like to see a good adaptation of a comic on the screen, but they are different mediums, and it doesn't always work well. Like, there's reasons why, as much as I think the Watchmen adaptation we got a few years ago from Zack Snyder was the best Watchmen adaptation we could hope for from a live-action movie, it still has serious faults as an adaptation of that work. Because, well, that work was really a love letter to comic books.
Yeah.
And how you can tell stories in comic books that you can't tell anywhere else.
Well, and if, like, with the reveal of the pictures in the movie, it's just like, I mean, in the book, when you're reading it, it's just horrifying because it's still like, this thing just keeps moving,
and to move past it, you have to move past it,
right?
But the other thing is, they're so Brian Ballond, especially at that time, the guy who illustrated the book, was one of the most detailed, beautiful illustrators. And so it was hard to move past it because you're taking in every tiny fucking little line he's doing. And I think that's another problem I had with this is, like, I like the animated DC Bruce Timm style. This was not the story to tell with that style. And also, they made some weird changes to that style in this that just honestly didn't fucking look good. Like, you show somebody wearing glasses in profile, you don't see the whole frame of their glasses on the side of their face. That's just sloppy art.
Yeah, that I didn't particularly notice, but
I noticed.
Yeah, you're more apt to notice something like that than I am.
They softened the edges way too much, I think.
Yeah,
I think that had a lot to do with it. It was just like
everybody's head was a little too small.
Yeah, it kind of felt like I'm watching just kind of a regular Batman episode. It's just kind of a little darker than the other ones.
Yeah,
like, you know, they really didn't go for it in terms of a lot of things. Like, they're using angles to, like, cover up people's asses, like it's cutting off where someone would normally say fuck. And then all the pictures on the wall were just kind of like, oh, there's her leg, there's her eye, there's like a close-up of her mouth.
And it's very much like that in the comics too, but it's just...
I mean, they pretty much took the art from the graphic novel and put it up there, but
it didn't linger. It's too fucking fast.
Yeah, it was very, very fast. It was very fast, and with the flashbacks were the best part of the movie, but you know, you're talking about the movie seeming kind of disjointed and everything. It felt like when the flashbacks...
Ladybug on the roof of the car. Sorry, guys.
When the flashbacks pop up in the movie, it was entertaining. It was cool seeing that. It was cool seeing this character humanized on screen in the level that he was. But they kind of come and go randomly, and it felt sort of like you could take, I don't know, an episode of anything about the Joker, and it felt like they just kind of randomly spliced flashbacks into it.
Yeah, and that's just... Like, Brian Azzarello, who adapted this, is a good comic book writer. He's not a screenwriter, though.
No.
And I think maybe that's what happened there, is the man's not a screenwriter. And they're like, fuck, this is the first thing I've ever seen or read that has his name on it that I didn't really fall in love with, and I'm really disappointed by it. And I don't want to talk too much shit about him, because I kind of know the dude, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. I know he had a fucking, like, issue at the ComicCon over the weekend, and that sucks, but, he's a really nice dude. Like, a really nice dude. He and his wife are good fucking people. But shit.
What happened at ComicCon over the weekend?
Oh, it was at the panel for this, and somebody asked a question, and he answered it, and some reporter, without, standing up or, waiting in line like everybody else to comment, like, just stood up and said, oh yeah, that's why you just made her fucking, made her sleep with Batman and then you killed her. And Brian Azzarello, being confronted like most people, he got a little angry and he called the dude a pussy.
It's like, what'd you say? You want to say that again, pussy?
Which,
good for him!
But I mean, in a public setting, he's promoting a movie. Maybe Brian shouldn't have done that. But at the same time,
someone acts like a dick. Like, it doesn't matter if they're right or not. Like, someone acts like a dick, all bets are off. Tell him to go fuck himself.
Well, stand up, get in line, make your fucking point, make it a discussion.
Valid criticism had he actually
gone about it the right way.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of just yelling it out like a heckler.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Brian was definitely calling dude a pussy for fucking, acting that way.
Yeah.
Not for his question, just for acting that way.
Yeah. I did see...
And maybe he was just calling him a pussy because he could.
Why not?
I mean, you got that many people being forced to listen to you. Fuck it, yeah, call them all pussies.
Yeah, you called me the other day and you were talking about, the reviews this aren't very good. And at the time, the only thing that I had really seen about it was shit that I would take with a grain of salt, because there's a difference between a review and a Tumblr review, and that was kind of what I had seen at that point. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. But like when you started talking about it, and even some other things that I had kind of seen, I was like, okay, this doesn't seem like it's getting the best reviews. But in terms of the movie itself, honestly, I was never bored in the thing. I mean, it moved by. It did certainly move by fairly quickly. The voice work is good in it. The joke that it ended with was very funny.
Yeah, we'll get to the ending in a second here. I got some issues with. It's just okay. Let's talk about you guys cool talking about the ending for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
All
gonna
right.
spoil shit in these.
Oh fuck! It's a 30-year-old comic book story.
If you're gonna,
You're the one who asked.
If you're going in to watch this,
Well,
you're going in
this
probably with the
just might
backdrop.
it's going to become another tangent about the difference between comic books and what you can do in comic books and what
Right.
you can do in movies. Because the ending in the comic book is very similar. You know, he tells the joke,
yeah.
Batman laughs,
Yeah.
they laugh together, and then the Joker stops laughing, and Batman's still laughing. It's the same in the comic book.
Yeah.
Only in the comic book, there's been a lot of discussion over the years, and it's very feasible in the comic book that Batman murders him.
Oh, okay.
And because it's a comic book.
I was
and it's-
kind of waiting for that in the movie, honestly.
But yeah, that's the thing. Because it's a comic book and because you don't have audio, you don't have... And unless the visual cue is given to you, you know, you can kind of come up with your own shit. The implication for a lot of years from a lot of different people, the idea has been that Batman snaps his fucking neck and just keeps laughing and Batman has gone crazy because he's had one bad day.
Yeah.
So it's the question that's always been left up to the reader from the books is, well, was Joker right or wrong? And in this, that ambiguity is not there.
No.
Yeah, no, when it ended, I didn't think that he killed him. Honestly, when it ended, I was like, oh, that ended abruptly.
Yeah, I don't think anybody who watched this could assume that Batman kills him.
I mean,
you don't have that question.
I was kind of waiting for it when that joke was being spoken when they
Yeah.
were talking. I was like, is he actually going to kill him in this? Is he going to throw him off the bell tower like at the end of, like at the end of 89?
Go a little fucking Keaton.
No, but well, like you're saying, the voice acting is great. But when you add inflection that is not your own, yeah, he's right. It completely throws away the ambiguity. Because when you're reading it in your own perspective.
Yeah.
With your own ideas of the
Exactly.
characters and and that's always been a great thing in comic books. It's like you're never gonna have a movie that you can have narrated by a third-person narrator that turns out to be your main character, because as soon as that main character says something, the voices will match up. You'll never have that, but you can do that in comic books, and it's fucking cool. Like you can tell stories in different ways in comic books, and even in just the written word, but I think in comic books you get even more things to play with that you can never do in another medium. And so I think when it comes to adapting great comic book works, it's fucking hard because some of the great things are the things that really play with the medium, you know?
So you're telling me the comic book didn't have a bonus scene in the middle of the credits at the end of the comic?
No.
In which Barbara Gordon...
Well,
I
in
think-
comics, the credits are all at the beginning, and they're usually about that big. Because, you know, there's like 4 dudes that worked on it.
They didn't have a thing at the end with Barbara Gordon contemplating becoming Megamind.
Oracle, actually. which honestly, a lot of people can argue that The Killing Joke is probably one of the best Batman stories. I'd say it's one of the best Joker stories.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that ever came out of it was that for, 20 years, Barbara Gordon became a character called Oracle and was one of the most effective superheroes in comics, all while in a wheelchair and never punching anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and that was another thing. It was like when they did the new 52.
They took that
They
away.
took
and
that away and it pissed a
you.
lot of people off. And I mean, kind of rightfully so, because
You do something horrible to a character and it was really shocking when they did this.
Oh, yeah.
And also, there's a great comic book editorial story about Alan Moore, the guy who wrote the comic book, was like, "Are you guys sure you want me to do this?" And he's said before that the editor at the time said, "Yeah, fuck it, cripple the bitch."
Yeah.
Someone just went through a breakup.
Oh, yeah. It was... But yeah,
Fucking cripple that bitch.
So she spends the rest of her time learning
learning to be a hero
learn to be
without
hero, yeah.
being able to do anything else that any other superhero can do.
Just like Mr. No Legs.
Yes.
And she becomes the most, I would say, the most vital member of the Batman extended family.
Yeah.
Because she's the network hub. She is the neural net for all these other characters.
In this, though, same thing, because Batman can't break up with a girl in a wheelchair.
Oh my god.
I know what the sequel of this is going to be. Batman, Me Before You.
Oh my god.
Barbara, they get married at the end, but she euthanizes herself.
Well, and here's the thing, like,
Superman comes along, and then we have a coming home situation.
So
Lex Luthor just walks out into the ocean at the end.
oh my god. But yeah, so like I've read some criticisms that were defending the Batman Batgirl thing, being, well, they get together in Batman Beyond. I'm like, yes, but that is years and years, theoretically, after they both have stopped
Yeah.
doing
Also,
this. And they
Also,
bond over a mutual...
In Batman Beyond, Barbara Gordon's not in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah.
And also, just because something might have worked in one thing doesn't mean it has to work in everything else you put it in.
Yeah.
Look, like I said, I hadn't read it, but even I was sitting there in the audience thinking, this is very random. This feels very out of character for Batman.
Yeah.
Well,
Now, if it was Catwoman, that's a completely different
Oh, well,
story.
yeah, I'm used to that.
If you were to start fucking Catwoman, yeah, I'd still be like, I don't agree with it, but fuck it, yeah, I've seen that shit
But
before.
there's a
I would be
precedent
less
there,
shocked if he started fucking a Robin.
Yeah.
Depends on the Robin.
Uh-huh.
If it was Dick
Getting some
Grayson,
dick
I'd
from
be like,
Dick.
that's fucked up. Pulls Jason Todd's body out of the ground, just starts fucking
Oh,
it.
God.
Look,
With a crowbar.
Dark Knight Rises would have
this-
been made better if Christian Bale just fucked Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the end of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
You could have... Fuck. You couldn't have made it worse, in my opinion.
Well, I found this to be better than Batman v Superman.
At
least I didn't
wasn't
have to-
3 hours long.
It wasn't 3 hours long, and it didn't have Eisenluther in it either.
Yeah.
At least this had a compelling villain in it.
So have you seen the extended cut?
No, not
Okay.
yet. We were talking about
So
watching
they-
it at one point.
One of the things they try and explain away is the wheelchair bomb,
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
with it being like lead lined, and I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, but that's a tiny plot point, and what about the rest of it?
Yeah, like, I'm sure that there's... And yeah, we talked about sitting down and watching it, and we probably will at some point, but like... Yeah, it's probably going to be what I predicted it'll be. It'll probably tie up a lot of loose ends, but a lot of the other flaws are still going to fucking be there.
Yeah.
You can't replace Jesse Eisenberg with Bryan Cranston.
If you watch, like, if the ComicCon teaser for Justice League,
I watched that, yeah.
Yeah.
you can tell that they were a little more perturbed by the criticisms of Batman versus Superman they'd
it's
like
obvious.
to admit.
They're focusing on some humor.
I really, you know what, I wasn't sold on Ezra Miller just based on the little bit he was in Batman
Well,
versus
they
Superman.
fucking shaved him and they let the This is the other thing, too. Yeah, I understand a lot of people love the idea of the Flash as a funny character. If you're gonna have the Flash be funny, make him fucking Wally West. Barry Allen's a fucking cop. He deals with dead bodies. He's
Yeah.
not a fucking comedian. I'm sick of that shit, too.
Yeah, I caught that trailer the other day, and instantly I was like, oh, man, the new Marvel movie looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I will give him credit, though. I sent out a tweet about it, too. The Wonder Woman trailer was fucking great.
That one I haven't
That was
seen
a
yet.
fantastic trailer, and I am honestly looking forward to that movie.
I'm looking
Batman
for-
v Superman, Justice League. The Comic-Con footage trailer, I didn't like it. I'll admit I didn't like it. I'm glad they're trying something a little different because obviously the last two movies did not work for me at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there still seems to be about the same amount of shit I had a problem with going on, just in different ways.
I'm looking forward to the upcoming ones that don't involve Zack Snyder.
I really am too, because the Wonder Woman one looks great.
Yeah.
I'm
excited for Affleck's standalone Batman movie. I haven't seen a frame of that.
Yeah. No, you know what? Like, more and more, the more I see a Suicide Squad, I think it's going to be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I have serious issues with some of the characterizations and some of the characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know what? Like, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, most of the characterizations in that aren't what I used to from the comic book either.
Right.
If the movie's fun and it's good, I will probably be able to overlook it.
Oh, well, Lord, yeah. Like, I can say that about any adaptation. Like, I've seen, we were talking about this outside about adaptations we've seen based off of books, and if it works, it works. Sometimes sometimes the changes they make can be for the better.
Yeah.
But
if they service the movie in a positive way without ruining
yeah.
If you completely get the character wrong, like, you make some changes, you fuck around with it, fine. But also, too, my major concern when people change characters, more than anything, is with the iconic characters. In Guardians of the Galaxy, they're lesser-known characters. You can fuck around with them. Suicide Squad members, you can fuck around with them. You can't fuck around with Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America. You can't. Like, they're icons. They're icons for a reason, and they're fucking just hammered in to the public consciousness. Like, everybody knows who fucking Batman is. You walk up to most people on the street and they will tell you that Superman doesn't kill. Like, those are just things people know. You don't have to change that to make a movie effective.
Well, yeah, if you run into the street, somebody on the street, and ask them that, they're gonna say that Superman doesn't kill, because the people who are yelling at us saying, yeah, he does, aren't outside.
Yeah.
They're on their computer yelling at us.
Wow.
We're gonna turn this in.
Oh, shit.
Hey, excuse me, someone get me some hair gel. I'm gonna take my glasses off and do a Rick head real quick.
God damn. I can see the comments now already. Jesus.
Don't worry, they'll have forgotten about you talking about Star Trek last week.
Yeah, pretty much now. I'm off the hook now.
Yeah, no, it's the Rick head's great, because it's no matter what we do and say, now we can just make a Rick head and somebody will yell at us more for that.
Yeah.
True.
Exactly. Short-term memory, man. Short-term commenting memory. Like, once the Rick head went up, they completely forgot about us talking about Ghostbusters. Once the Star Trek thing went up, they forgot about the Rick head.
Yeah. I want to be angry.
Nothing is going to top the people who think the Rick head is a real person.
Oh, those are great.
That's how.
Oh, by the way, I told you about this. I got an email the other day from somebody, and the subject heading was just the Rick head, and I'm like, this isn't going to be good. And it was this long email from this dude talking about, like, I don't know why you let that guy on your site. What does this have to do? Like, I really wish you would just let him have his own page.
I liked your site before he got all political.
Oh, those are my favorite, because we have never talked about politics at all, ever.
Oh, shit.
You know, he got more videos that have gotten more dislikes than the Rick head, or like the Passion of the Christ did. A lot of the religious stuff is more granted, the ratio is different, but like the amount of dislikes is far larger. Yeah, they were they were under the impression that A, the Rick head is a real person, and B, I guess, like, you have taken over the YouTube page and have started uploading the Rick head. I wrote the guy back, and I'm like, it's not a real person, and it's to tie in with a movie, and also I wrote it.
Have they never... You have literally never been to the site if you think the Rick head is a real person. You have not. Ever. You can't have.
Well, my favorite thing
is... You really cannot have. If you've seen Dave in any review ever in the past 5 fucking years,
I know
you have to realize he's not the Rick.
I know in the past year I haven't been on the site a lot because I've been fucking living and working out of town, but for fuck's sake, I was never completely gone.
Right.
And beyond that, I also really love the people that are like, you obviously don't respect your fans, that you would troll us, and it's like, We've been trolling you for years, motherfucker! Have you not seen any of the re-reviews? Have you not... Like, Jesus Christ! Like...
It makes it worth it, man. It makes it totally worth it. Because from that, you can tell who's gonna like the movie or not.
Yeah. Oh,
Kinda. The Rickhead videos are way more political than the movie is. The movie's actually not political at all. The video series is completely different.
Well, you know how Paranoia had the writer's cut. With this movie, I really want there to be the star actor cut.
Yeah.
It's just me swearing like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just trimmed out of the movie, and it's just me swearing. Just saying horrible, hateful things.
Just for like 90 minutes,
Yes.
just a monologue. The Rickhead's anatomy. Would you guys recommend this at all?
No.
Like
No.
in any capacity, like home viewing or anything?
No, if you want
if
this
you're
story, go read it.
Yeah, if you're a lifelong comic book reader and you're curious about how it's adapted, and that's the only reason you want to see it, sure, wait till it's on video. I mean, it's only going to play like 3 fucking times.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's out within the next couple weeks.
But also, if you're a big enough fan of The Killing Joke to want to see The Killing Joke, don't fucking bother.
Yeah.
Really don't. It's lackluster and disappointing and not... It could have been so much more, especially with the people involved. It could have been so much more.
It should have been.
I guess as far as what I could say in terms of just the casual viewer watching this, I mean, even I was noticing a lot of flaws at this that we talked about earlier with character and pacing and tone, but even I couldn't really recommend seeing this in the theater. You're not going to get your money's worth for paying Fathom tickets for this. I would say, but again, I wasn't sitting there bored. I wasn't sitting there thinking like, my God, this fucking sucks. So at the least, I could say like, all right, if it pops up on Netflix for the casual viewer, I guess, like, I don't know, like it won't be the worst Batman movie you've seen.
And honestly, this may be the first Batman animated movie that DC's put out that I've just not been a fan of. Most of the stuff they put out is really good.
Oh, that's one thing I hands down have to give DC above Marvel easily, is their animation
Like
products are far and away better than any of the Marvel stuff.
like the Son of Batman stuff, the 2 parts of Dark Knight Returns,
The Red Hood was good.
Under the Red Hood, just everything. Every other Batman adaptation that DC does seems to work really well. This one,
Even I could say that this is that those are easily, even for a casual viewer, are better products than this movie is.
And still, if you want to see the best Batman movie ever fucking made, watch fucking Mask of the Phantasm.
Good movie. Love that fucking movie.
It's the best Batman movie. It really is.
Best, yeah. My favorite, no. I mean,
Not my favorite.
but best,
Yeah.
yeah, probably. Honestly.